Welcome back to Fair's Fair, where I'm making something short while working on bigger stuff. So as you all know, the elongated muskrat bought Twitter. First, my initial take on this. He won't make it better. He bought it for the meme just like he bought pretty much every other company that people praise him for owning, plus his drive to draw profit and to support free expression might be at odds with each other. If you charge to use it, then it's not free expression. The poor being inconvenienced in order to express themselves is a restriction. There are some things I'm okay with, like charging a slight amount so that you can put larger videos on there, because that does in fact use more resources. And it's not a video hosting site, so really you don't need the ability to put large videos on there. But if you really wanted to improve it, upping the character count wouldn't go amiss. A user suggesting Twitter Blue allow animated profile pictures and profile banners isn't off base. That doesn't elevate anyone above others and would be kind of cool. But the greatest threat to Twitter is Elon's tweets themselves. I have heard that some people think he's just trolling to upset people because it's fun. And granted, trolling can be fun sometimes. Though that seems like a bad idea considering the primary income relies on number of users and ads. So trolling in a way that drives people away and has advertisers pulling out seems like a bad idea. Of course, Twitter is sort of a pre-crashed plane for reasons completely outside of Twitter's control, so... But whether it's a monumental success and a complete turnaround of Twitter, or an absolute disastrous failure, it's bound to be fun to watch either way. Now, with my simplified thoughts out of the way, let's talk about some of the other reactions instead. Plenty of Twitter users think this will lead to large-scale harassment, though that happens now anyway. Funny enough, harassment isn't free speech according to the law or Twitter rules. And considering people are willing to break the rules of Twitter as they stand to harass people, Twitter accounts are free and limitless, I don't see this changing much. On the other hand, the bastion of reasonable discourse and staggering intellect known as iFunny had many a comment about how they will raid Twitter, and they'll take over Twitter once he's fully in charge. You guys know accounts are free and you can make an infinite amount of them, right? Like, no one was stopping you from being on there except you. The things that make Twitter insufferable are built into the core of the platform and the culture of how it's used, or just culture in general, especially when it comes around to politics. Still not touching that if I can manage not to. The problem with Twitter is the attempt at discussing very deep subjects inside of the character limit, the mob mentality, complete loss of context or focus when something goes viral, and the all too common habit of people assuming malintent rather than understand perspective or look for clarification. While he certainly could try to fix some of this, which he doesn't seem to be, the last one isn't even under his control. I know the very idea of disagreeing with someone without hating their guts is kind of a foreign concept nowadays, but just because they disagree with you does not mean they're wantonly evil, and it's become far too common for people to simply believe that this is always true. But what has Elon done? Well, he fired the CEO and CFO, and apparently the checkmark is going to be a paid-for item. So now, not only are basic features like the edit button locked behind an $8 to $20 paywall, Twitter Blue was going up to $20, but that's okay because it might go down to $8 after Stephen King said that he didn't care about his blue checkmark that much. And Elon Musk attempted to coax him back by offering $8 instead of $20. So it would appear that Elon Musk has officially entered the bargaining stage of grief. I'd be grieving too if I lost $44 billion and my reward was Twitter. With this new system, now verification is no longer something that leads validity, but proof that you have $8 to throw at Twitter. He also gave the technicians less than a month to make this change. This might have slipped past some people, but the checkmark isn't a fucking fashion statement. It's to make clear that this is in fact the person they claim to be. They were verified as themselves or as the official account of a character company person, whatever. We know they didn't stop being them just because they didn't pay for Twitter Blue, so I guess the checkmark has nothing to do with verification now. In fact, in theory, with Twitter Blue, you could become verified as a person that you're not. A very serious concern that Elon has not worked hard to dissuade by saying it happens now anyway. Because, you know, if people are abusing a system to gain false validity in order to scam or discredit people, why shouldn't you sell the ability to do that to more people? Of course, the Twitter Blue would also give you priority in replies. Cool! That's an I paid Elon money for priority speech class that I have to scroll past to get to opinions I care about. Remember, you're on an equal stage, but they get the microphone. You can just yell. He said that the cost was to be adjusted to the local economies, so the bots will be mass bought in countries with weak economies and get pushed up into search and replies. Then of course there's also that you get the ability to post longer videos and audios. Alright, that makes sense. That's sort of tolerable. I have no issue with people paying for that because, again, it takes considerably more resources to host a longer or higher def video. It's kind of understandable that if you want to take up more resources, you'd have to pay a small fee for it. I don't know if it's $8 worth it, but I could understand if someone wanted that. But with the whole checkmark thing, you're kind of inviting harassment and scammers to your doorstep with that checkmark. And finally, at least finally from what I was reading about the new Twitter Blue, you could get half as many ads! Wait, not even ad-free? Pretty sure Crunchyroll is ad-free at $8. And they have an entire library of shows that I might actually want to watch. And I have ad blocker. If your website makes me turn it off or gets past it, I'm leaving. There is no content I want on Twitter bad enough to have ads on my PC screen for it. I'm already subscribed to most of the content creators I like on both Twitch and YouTube, and I always have at least one of those tabs up at all times, so waiting for announcements of these things on Twitter isn't even that important. So between the increase in cost for Twitter Blue and making people pay for a target to be tattooed on their head, plus the priority, which is not even about how much it costs, getting priority for money suppresses those who don't want to pay the richest man in the world for an equal chance to have a voice. He's shadow banning people if they don't pay for the psychological equivalent of using a gimpy plant as a urethral sound. And before the shoes on the other foot people come in saying that there was already shadow banning, it's wrong either way! If you're okay with something so long as it's your side doing it, then you aren't principled, you're a fandom. Okay with anything so long as it's your team doing it. Then there's pushing the advertisers away, accidentally firing so many people that your company can't function, strawmanning and other fallacies in response to criticism. He bought a pre-crashed plane, somehow angled it down, and arguably affixed thrusters. If he's very careful, it could become a profitable website. In fact, since PayPal and Patreon insist on throwing people off based on arbitrary reasoning, if he beefed up the subscription system and added a way to tip people through it, it's possible that Twitter could double as both a social media site and as a crowdfunding site for content creators who can't get onto Patreon or don't trust PayPal. Unfortunately for our musky overlord, Twitter isn't a valuable commodity that will yield large-scale profits. From the moment he bought it for what I understand to be well over market value, it was most likely going to be a depreciating asset. Especially if it's free, safe, functional, and convenient. That's the kind of issue with an unrestricted free stage to express from. Great for people to express themselves from, but it's not known for its profit margin if it's free. So what are your thoughts? Do you think it will improve greatly? Crash and burn? Will Elon add to the terms of service that he can use your GPU to mine crypto without telling you? Let me know in the comments as you like, share, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and if you do, we promise not to kill the young fair clones. This time, we put the safety on. Or we will, if that's what you want to see. I'm a sellout, I'll murder children for interactions. Or if you're mad that I put off doing a video on media, which is why you're all subbed, then, well, I'm working on it. Also, it's my channel, so you can go down there and be entertainingly angry.